Now, we've had Clubhouse in our lives for about nearly 5-6 months now. I've been on here since the start of December 2020, and people have come in after that. Now, seeing that we're 4 or 5 months in, and Dave, we'll go to you first. You use it quite a lot. How do you see Clubhouse in your day-to-day life in 6 months' time? So by the end of 2021, where do you see Clubhouse? Is it going to be as important, or is it just going to be like a Snapchat, like a flash in the pan? Or like, where do you see Clubhouse going? And do you feel like it's going to be as beneficial? Are you still enjoying it as much? Like, what's your opinion on this app, on this channel that we are talking on right now?
What a fantastic question, Mark. So yeah, thanks for coming to me first. I do use it a lot. So I'm on Clubhouse. Good 2 hours a day, probably most days. And I do use it. Now, where do I see it going in 6 months' time? So, what a great question. So at the moment, we've got people are still kind of in lockdown. They're not out and about and doing everything. I suppose that's kind of come back a little bit now. And there's still people using this fantastic app day in, day out. It's a great place to bring people together. You can do it in your underpants. You can do it with your hair all over the place. You can do it naked. You can do whatever you want because nobody can see what you're doing, right? So it makes it so accessible for so many people. Now, if we have a look at the stats, there's around in the UK. I'm not sure what this is across the world, but in the UK, we've got around 33% of the population using Apple products or Apple phones, and it's only available to Apples. Now, you can't. I think there's a Android. It hasn't really opened up to Android yet. So there's a huge market there for people to be jumping on this once it's open up to Android, and that will happen. So there's a good 60 whatever it is percent of the population that are not on Apple that are going to be opened up to Clubhouse in the near future. So I think it's just going to grow and grow. I think the great thing about Clubhouse is that you can jump onto a panel, you can speak to people that are a million light years ahead of where you are right now, and you can jump up and ask them a question and get that question answered. So for me, I think that Clubhouse will continue to grow. I think the rate that it's growing will slow down, but I think it's got so much potential for the future. I mean, look at everybody on this panel this morning. We're all networking together. We're sharing ideas. We're answering questions for each other. We're doing so much on this panel, and there's so many relationships being built in the background. I mean, I've never done so much business since I jumped onto Clubhouse. I think it's about 115 days ago now. Never done so much business. So, and the opportunities and the wealth of knowledge and the things that I'm learning on a day-to-day basis are just huge for me. So, if people want to continue learning and developing and gaining that knowledge and the confidence to do things, then I think it's just a great platform. That was a bit deep, but there you go.
Having a blast, gonna get it on the Bruce Lee podcast. Bruce Lee like Bruce Lee, cause it's so hard and the T is loose leaf. Making up those rhymes, don't write it, just do it loosely.